Mission Peak, looming over Fremont, California, is a giant, 2,500 feet tall at its highest point. 3 miles to its summit, up switchbacks and rocky ledges. The challenge for 4 brave young hikers to summit or go home trying. For 2 of them, it will be their first ascent. For the hikers, their day begins early at the end of Stanford Street at the Stanford Trailhead, a 3-mile direct ascent to the top of the peak.
I remember not knowing where it was, and I remember people saying, oh yeah, I climb it every day before I go into work, sort of thing. I'm like, oh, how hard could that be? I'll do it.
I've never been to it before, even when I was little. I lived in Union City whole life, and I've never hiked it.
I've never really heard it or seen about it, a couple months ago. That's when I first started hearing about it because, some of my other friends started doing it. I thought, oh, it's just gonna be like Coyote Hills, not that big of a deal.
Before this adventure gets started, let's meet the hikers. First, that's Kyle, always willing to make you laugh. He's the so-called comedian of the group. And that's Gustavo. We consider him the artist of the group. It's safe to say you'll truly never know where his mind's gonna be. And then there's Leandre, the thoughtful one of the group. Go to him if you need some sound advice. And finally, there's me, Justin, trying to make sense of it all through the lens of a camera. As the hikers start out the day, they begin by heading up the gravel and dirt path of the Ohlone Wildlife Trail. And from here, the true scale of Mission Peak finally comes into their view.
Well, when I first got there and we were trying to find a parking spot in the parking lot, and I saw the mountain, I was like, yeah, it's a little bit bigger than I thought it would be. Walking up, just seeing people walking up the trail and see how far they go and how smaller they got. It was kind of intimidating at first, but I was like, we're all about to do this. I think we know we'd be able to do it.
When I first arrived there, I thought it was pretty big. I didn't expect it to be that long of a trail. I saw it from when we were standing in the parking lot, and so I was just preparing myself. I figured, we're here, got to do it, so just get it done.
I wasn't really thinking about myself. I was thinking about these guys, how it was their first time and how miserable they were going to be for the rest of the day. But Kyle walks for a living, I didn't think it was going to affect him that much, but who knows? He's a big guy. And Leandre, I don't know what he does, but I didn't think he had it in him.
After briefly resting at the aptly named Rocky Point, the hiker's journey continues on past some of the only shade on the entire climb. The Ohlone Wilderness Trail continues its snaking path up the face of the mountain, stopping only 2 more times at benches, providing a well-needed rest from the trail. Continuing on, the summit grows ever closer, but stays just out of reach. It's at this moment, doubts of reaching the summit cloud your mind. However, the true hiker stays on the trail.
No, I didn't have any doubts at all. I had my best friends there to help me out along the way if I had any problems. So, I just went out there and, gave it my all, 110%. Plus it's a great way to stay in shape.
I was expecting it to be a nice day and a good time.
Like, you seriously want to go home after, not even midway to midway. You want to quit, but you just keep going. And as soon as you catch that second wind, it feels great. You're just closer to reaching your point.
With the hikers soldiering on, it's a steep climb up one of the many shortcuts on the mountain. Often rutted and washed out from the rain, they just add to the thrill and challenge of hiking Mission Peak.
my friend. Oak.
For a second, you're graced with the flat top and view from hang glider launch. However, from here, the trail takes a turn towards a brutal, increasing in its incline and slowing your pace to almost a crawl. As you head up for your final leg of the summit over increasingly steep portions of the mountain. Exhausted and out of breath, the summit finally comes into view, giving you your second win.
On top of Mission Peak and seeing that pole for like the second time actually that I've been up there, it feels pretty great. It's like a point of reference, like, okay, here, this is home base sort of thing. You touch this and you're finished. So like before you get up to there, like a couple of feet left, just seeing that pole, you feel like, yeah, it's over, but it feels great. I want to do it again, sort of thing.
Reaching the summit, the hikers are instantly rewarded with views of the entire Bay Area and inland towards the valley. Quite simply, it's worth more than 1,000 words.
I thought it was a great view. By the time we got there, it was in the early afternoon, and it was really windy up there and cold. So I didn't have a jacket. I was the only one in the group who didn't have a jacket, so I was pretty cold.
I felt pretty freaking good, to be honest with you. It was just like, you know, you could see everything, you know. It was just, you know, yeah, I'm the king of the world kind of thing, yeah.
It was a nice view. I've never, like I said, been to the top, and to see both sides, to see the bay and to see inland, I thought it was a really good view.
With winds gusting above 30 miles an hour, the hikers rest up and take in the view, feeling the greatness of their accomplishments. On a clear day, the hiker is rewarded with astonishing views of Mount Tamalpais, Mount Diablo, and Mount Hamilton. Not to mention a 360-degree panorama of the Bay Area. The iconic sighting pole sits atop Mission Peak's summit, providing that perfect location for a photo. Before long, it's time to hike back down the 3 miles to the main gate. However, some hikers take a quite different approach to reaching the bottom. Sailing on high winds and updrafts coming off the steep slopes of the peak, they soar like birds on paragliders and hang gliders. For the hikers, it's a long walk back to the bottom, all now knowing the epic journey that is hiking Mission Peak.
After we hiked Mission Peak, I was not really tired, just a little bit. I was more in pain on my feet.
I didn't feel too bad as I thought I would be. You know, as hiking up a mountain, what do you expect after, you know, to be really sore and tired?
I would probably want to do it again, even though I know it's not good probably for my health. but it's okay.
It was a good experience, you know. Had an awesome time, good friends, you know, and plus we did something really cool. It was an opening experience.
And then I felt pretty proud at the same time. Just a lot of things. I mean, like, being up there is sort of like a way of living. Like, you meet people that do that often, and like coming back to like ground level and just falling back into society and going to work or whatever feels sort of like weird. Like, why do we do this sort of thing?
Mission, wait, hold on. It's Mission Peak, right? Yeah. I was gonna say Mountain Peak. Anyways, all right, well, we'll redo this, okay.
He's got a man. Oh, this is the man right here.